Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Green Flag. I'm your host, Lucas Wacker, and alongside me, as always, we have Kyle Cushman to get you up to date in all the latest in the world of motorsports. We've got a lot to talk about since our last show, Kyle. That's for sure.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. So we'll just get right into it because we don't want to waste any time. So we've had a reading week here at Ryerson. So
Thank God.
Yeah, we a much needed reading week, and then so we didn't get to do a proper race analysis of Talladega, the second race in the round of 12. So we'll just jump right into that. So Talladega, obviously the most wild card of all the tracks in the playoffs, arguably, and it was a heater. It was it
was
threw a
wild.
lot of curveballs. So we just to give you a little bit of a quick recap, they were meant to race on Sunday. They did get a part of the race in on the Sunday. They had the 400 cars lock out the front four spots. Chase Elliott on pole, needing to recover from that Dover mishap, and they look pretty strong in qualifying. So not much to talk about in qualifying because Hendrick always just dominates that. So then the first stage happens. William Byron wins stage one, but Ryan Blaney, just a quick caveat there, was the leader and coming down pit road for green flag pit stops. He did spin out and basically cost himself track position to earn any stage points in stage one, providing that he needed those. But we'll get to that a little bit later. So William Byron wins stage one, and Joey Logano finishes second, getting valuable stage points for those two. And that was it for stage one. They ended the race that day under caution at the stage one break. It never got re-going with rain in the area. Washed out the track. So then we came back on the Monday, and boy, we had some great racing. That was terrific. So then stage two, the first big one happens. Alex Bowman in the lead. Joey Logano with a huge run. Bowman
Basically
tries
what
to
we
block.
expected to see.
It's what you can expect at Talladega for sure. So Bowman's in the lead. Logano has a huge run. There's a big gap between the two, and Logano dives low. Bowman goes to block. The block just doesn't go right. The bumpers don't align. Bowman goes spinning down and then comes right back up, right into the field, collecting some big names. And Larson was one of them, but thankfully for him, he won at Dover, so he doesn't have to worry about that. Chase Elliott got involved in that, got some damage. Didn't really hurt his car too much, it seemed, because the pack helps with that. And then who else got involved? Bowman obviously was involved. Logano escaped after causing 50-50, I guess, causing that wreck. And Jimmy Johnson was involved. Was there any other playoff cars in that? I'm drawing a blank.
No, it was just Larson and Bowman that was in that first one.
Really
there were some
Bowman.
other good cars, but those were the only two playoff guys.
Yeah. And then moving a little bit along, then we had another big wreck. Surprisingly, a bump goes wrong from Kurt Busch, and I think it was Chris Buescher behind William Byron on the bottom lane, and Byron gets shunted up into Logano. Both of them, the first two, the first and second place drivers from the first stage get wiped out in the same wreck, ending Byron's day. Logano ended up actually staying on the track somehow with that thing, but he got all four tires off the ground. So pretty major wreck there. Byron, that is huge for his playoff hopes. It just totally honestly crushed them. He didn't really recover even at Kansas. So unfortunate for William Byron, that's for sure. And now we'll get into just a little bit of the final big wreck, I guess, because that one was insane.
I haven't seen a wreck like that in a long time.
You don't see a car go airborne. Spoiler.
If anything, you would have expected Logano to go airborne the way that Byron came up to him and the way that he hit his back left, but
yeah,
it's Brendan Gaughan that goes for the ride somehow.
Yeah, Brendan Gaughan. Good old Brendan Gaughan runs 4 races a year. I guess.
Thought he was going to win the thing.
He had a run on the outside line. I can't blame you for thinking that way.
Car.
Yeah, riding at the back all day and then punching forward when it counted most. So a lot of weird names up there at the front because a lot of big names had been taken out by this point. We had David Reagan up there, my sleeper pick going into the weekend. I was feeling really good about it.
Hey, DeBenedetto was up there.
DeBenedetto did really good too. So I like that paint scheme that he ran that weekend.
That was a nice paint
scheme.
Really nice paint scheme.
So, so the big one happens. This is huge. So leave it to Ricky Stenhouse Jr. to have some sort of impact in this. So it's a 3-wide situation for the lead. Ricky Stenhouse on the bottom lane, Kyle Busch on the middle, and we had a charging Brendan Gaughan in the outside line coming for the lead. And Stenhouse, as you do, wants to come up, kind of side draft, I guess, but he got really close. So then,
And by really close, you mean hit him.
I didn't want to throw Stenhouse entirely under the bus, but yeah, it was pretty much contact there. So they had the two Busch brothers behind each other, and Kyle slides up. Kurt kind of has to go with him, but then at that point, the nose and the bumpers don't lock. So then it's just chaos.
Mayhem.
Yeah. So Kyle slides up. Brendan Gaughan gets tapped, and then he gets T-boned basically, and just like does a 360 loop in the air. Like, I don't even know how else to describe it. Like, you have to visually see it for us to do it justice.
Looks like Simone Biles as a race car.
Yeah.
Which is saying something, because Simone Biles is like 5 foot, like 100 pounds. And we're talking about 3,000 pound cars here.
And then another, on Brendan Gaughan.
Exactly. He's like 3 Simone Biles himself.
Yeah.
So.
So then Brad Keselowski gets taken out in the mayhem as well. I mean, basically everyone did. I didn't think there was anyone left.
Yeah.
I even texted you. I was just like, I don't think there was anyone
like,
left. But one playoff driver that escaped the mayhem in Talladega was Mr. Ryan Blaney. Unbelievable that he's made it through all of that stuff. I thought he would cause something from the way he was racing a little bit during the race, because he was pretty aggressive, which he needed to be.
Yeah, he had to be. Because at the very least, he needed to get the stage points, because if he got caught up in something like William Byron, for example,
right,
he needed those stage points to have a shot at Kansas.
Yeah.
But sure enough, he goes out and wins the thing.
He goes out and wins the thing. And my God, that was one of the most heart-beating moments I've had as a NASCAR fan, honestly.
In the last lap, there was like 4 different points where I was like, oh my God, he's going to win it. And then I was like, oh my God, he's not going to win it.
Yeah.
And then we come back around and it's, oh my God, he's going to win it.
Yeah.
And then Newman takes the lead again and it's, oh my God, he's not going to win it.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, that kind of somewhat controversial, somewhat not, because of the Truck Series race, finished, the pass, just incredible stuff. That's exactly what you want from the super speedways.
Yeah, you don't see that as much often with the package that they've used in previous years. You don't usually get that photo finish, which we all love. Like, and this was, I think, the 7th closest finish in NASCAR history. I think
something like that.
Yeah, it was insane. So the caution that I mentioned with Kyle and Brad and all the playoff guys that were left, because there wasn't many left, led to a finished in regulation. So then they had a restart. Ryan Blaney, the leader, and there were about, I count, like 12, 15 cars on the track.
Many.
Like maybe 2 or 3 that didn't have damage. And Blaney was one of them, so thankfully for him, that probably did help him in a way. So yeah, we get the final restart underway, and Blaney takes off. He has he takes the lead. He looks like he's in control of this thing for the first lap. But then, by golly, Ryan Newman, the Rocket Man.
I didn't even know he was still in the race, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
He came out of nowhere.
He doesn't run at front ever. Like, I look back at old Talladega races, and I see that Newman's at the front in almost every finish. Like, it's crazy. So, yeah, there's no words to describe that, really. So, he comes out with the head of steam because he has Denny Hamlin still in the race. He did have some issues throughout the race, but he was totally fine on points, so we didn't really bother mentioning him. So he gets a push from Ryan Newman in the outside line, and it's such a huge run with this package. Like, I love the package. Like,
it's worked fantastic.
Nailed it. Like, no matter how big that rear spoiler is, that big ass, the giant ass spoiler, as Dale Jr. likes to call it, it works. So here comes a charging Ryan Newman on the outside with Denny Hamlin pushing him. Blaney has too big of a separation between, I think it was him and Almirola. And that's it. Like, Blaney even said he couldn't block the run. Newman goes steaming around him on the outside, and he takes the lead away from Blaney, which was crazy. Like, I did not expect Blaney to lose the lead once he got it there. So then Newman takes the lead, and so we're coming through 3 and 4, but he doesn't really have a huge run. So Blaney kind of backs up to Almirola to get a big run going onto the front stretch. And there's not much Newman could do, like Blaney had to do with him. So then Blaney gets the run. And he looks high, looks low, and he gets a little bit of contact from Newman to I guess force him down below the yellow line. It didn't go full.
Not all four.
Not all four,
but
he got 2. Half the car was underneath it.
it was a little bit questionable to the point where there was some
It's a
discussion.
gray area,
Yeah.
you know. And then Blaney, in a photo finish, they're beaten and bang and come to the line, and Newman just loses out to Ryan Blaney, and that automatically punches Blaney's ticket to the round of 8, which neither of us saw coming because you cannot predict anything that happens at
No.
Talladega, and that's why we love it so much. It just provides that much joy to every race fan because the playoffs are just so much better with Talladega in them.
It was insane. Like, Ryan Blaney, of all the playoff drivers to win this race, he was the one who was the farthest out, the one that basically everybody counted out. He had to win this race, essentially, to get through. And sure enough, he somehow does it.
It's crazy.
Coming back from that spin early on when he was leading going down pit road to come back and win the race in the fashion that he did, how close it was. Impressive stuff to survive the race and then go out and win it.
Yep.
And it threw a huge wrench
Into the
playoffs.
Yep.
Because without that, Chase Elliott's in on points regardless in Kansas. And we don't have the kind of storyline that ended up happening and what ended up happening at Kansas, of course. So,
Yeah.
And I think it's important to note, based off of how things went at Kansas, that Chase Elliott did survive enough, even though he was involved in one of the earlier big wrecks, to finish 8th.
Yeah, he had a great finish.
And sure enough, if he doesn't finish 8th there, he's not going through to the round of
if he
the round
goes
of
to the
8.
garage, he's done. Like he
Oh,
does not,
he's like
at all.
0%. He would have had to win Kansas, and
Yeah.
on those it was close, but on those short restarts he just
you
didn't
don't got a
have
chance.
he just didn't have it with Denny Hamlin. But we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, I just want to touch quickly on the racing at Talladega, just really quickly. How incredible it was. I think that's the first plate race I can remember in a long time. I guess Daytona was rain shortened, so we didn't get. Maybe it would have happened there in the July race. But
Yeah,
I doubt
that one kind of gets axed because of the rain and the lightning and
that whole stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, but the racing was fantastic. There was, I think a combined maybe 10 laps where it all single file against the wall, and it's usually like 50.
Yeah, and those
50 or
and
60.
those 10 laps were spread out over the entire 188 laps.
Exactly.
It wasn't 10
consistent.
consecutive like we had seen at points in the past.
Yeah, we got really timely cautions, which helped with that, I think.
Yeah.
Because Logano, whenever he got to the lead, drug him up to the wall because he's comfortable leading. He always has a fast car at Talladega.
But an important point with this package, though, is that in the past when somebody would do that, it would have to stay single file until something happens.
Yeah.
With this new package, somebody can come at a line and they can hold it long enough so that they can get help to come and form that second line.
Yeah, it doesn't last. You can't maintain running the top line. Like in the past, you had them running the top lane, and then they would honestly leave it too late because the runs didn't materialize.
They basically have to, and because nobody would go, and then if you were the one to go, people on the top line would just shift up one, and it would be basically less driving for the win and more driving for however many points you can salvage.
Yeah, it was a lot more of strategic back then to plan your move. Now, honestly, you can go whenever you want because you have enough of a run that forms quickly.
How many times did we see somebody in the outside line go up and try to create a third line only to come back down a couple laps later?
Yeah, it's
like...
It's
and
terrific.
even then, how many times did they go out and form a third line, and we got 3 wide racing for a decent stretch? Like,
a third line.
We haven't seen that in a long time.
A lot of 3 wide makes you have your nerves on edge. I can't imagine what it's like in the car. But yeah, I think the racing, they've nailed the package for right now. If they want to make that giant ass spoiler a little bit smaller, I would not be opposed to that. But if it affects the racing, I'm fine with it.
I think they got a good thing going.
Yeah, I agree. So also the manufacturer stuff that
that was dumb.
I just that's one thing that I'm not really digging.
Like,
but it didn't really happen because it's so hard to get people together.
Well, no, it's just dumb from the manufacturer's point of view because then if there's not only does it look bad, but if there's one wreck, if all your drivers are driving together, half your fleet's going to be gone in one wreck.
Exactly. That's why I'm opposed to the whole idea, even though they think it quote-unquote looks good.
No, it's one thing. Yeah, sure. It's one thing if you've got the option to push 2 people and you push and you tell, hey, if you've got the option of A and B and we're car manufacturer A, draft with A.
Yeah.
But it's a whole nother thing to say, okay, drop to the back, line up, and go with each other.
Exactly.
Like, it just doesn't make sense. And you saw that because at the finish, you got Ford, Toyota, Ford. Would you look at that? So,
Survival
and
of
if
the
you look at
fittest.
the bottom, the final 4 finishers are all Chevrolets. And maybe that's because 3 of those, Larson, Johnson, and Bowman, were all involved in the same wreck
Yeah.
because they're all driving together.
Yeah.
But I don't make those decisions, and
We
Chevy
digress.
can go and wreck their cars all they want.
Yeah. So that's pretty much Talladega. Ryan Blaney with the win. Huge win
Really
for
fun
Ryan Blaney.
race. Really fun race.
I give it 10 out of 10. That was spectacular. Like I couldn't ask for much
That's
more.
as good as it gets.
Like
that,
photo finish, some wrecks, which I'm not opposed to, even though it's sometimes scary.
it's a super speedway.
It's what happens.
Like
it's inevitable.
Yeah.
And
it's
then,
a byproduct of the racing.
Yeah, an actual good racing. Yeah, exactly. Good product.
Good product throughout the entire thing. The playoff drama just added to the finish as well. It was just great from every aspect that NASCAR could have wanted.
Exactly. So we are going to move on to Kansas, the last race of the round of 12.
Yes.
We have 300 cars below the cutoff line coming into this race. Bowman, Elliott, and Byron, and then Clint Boyer as the other person below the line.
Yeah, and going into this, it was always going to be, can Chase Elliott point his way in, or is
Bowman even.
Bowman?
He was ahead of him. That's why I'm saying.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But going in, it was basically,
more
can
from Chase.
Chase Elliott point his way in, and can Bowman kind of survive?
Yeah.
Because Bowman was always going to need a little bit of help unless he had like his early season form at this track, which I just didn't see coming in. But sure enough, we got some playoff drama throughout this.
We did. So it
started bubbling early though.
It very much did. So we had a great race. Honestly, like it was
Very solid race.
You know, I'll give Kansas their due on that one. They've nailed the package on that particular mile and a half.
Yes,
for
yes.
sure.
Always
Yeah.
tough being the race that follows up a super speedway, just because you go from that highest of highs based off of what NASCAR is looking for and just the excitement overall that comes from the super speedways. It's always tough to follow that up, but this final race in the round of 12 was really, really solid.
Yeah. Do you want to touch on the Bowman thing? I guess you probably do. I guess with the Bowman incident at the beginning where he got contact. Do you want to touch on that?
I mean, there's only so much that we can really talk about it. It's just basically there's a few drivers that have shown that they're not necessarily ready to go to that next stage, and Alex Bowman's had a few too many mistakes in these playoffs, and
Yeah.
that's something that you expect from a guy that's only in his second, or this is his third season in that 88, right?
No, second.
Second?
I think because he made it to the round of 12.
Because there was
Yeah.
that weird like quarter season, and
Yeah, he
it
filled
gets
in for
all
junior,
messy.
yeah.
But no, like this is a guy who it's his first time this far in the playoffs.
Yep.
And he's shown that he needs a bit more experience to kind of weed out these mistakes. Like you saw the Austin Dillon incident. That's just something that you can easily avoid.
Yeah.
And it saves you points in the long run. And the early mistake at the Roval, granted he did come back at the end to barely squeak through, but how much easier would that have been on him if he didn't have that early mistake? All these different things. And then that's just another one that you can tack onto things.
Yeah, so we had Kyle Larson basically getting out from the get-go. You don't usually see that much where a leader can get that big of a gap on everyone else. He
And
run
that
high
42
line.
team has been very impressive recently.
Yeah, on the mile and a half especially. I mean, they won at Dover too. So like, there's no real weak spot I can see from that 42 car right now.
No,
But Martinsville could be.
They are trending at the right time.
Yeah, very much so. So Larson basically leads from the get-go, but Joey Logano comes down pit road during a commercial break because, of course, every time on commercial breaks, he comes down pit road with a loose wheel reported, and that sets him back big time. It looked like in stage one, all the broadcasters and all of us at home are thinking, holy crap, this could be the end of Joey Logano, because he was right below that, right on that cut line then, because Chase Elliott was running so well. none of the cars really qualified that well because they all set
No,
up
it
for
was
the
kind
race.
of weird.
Daniel Hemrick and David Reagan as the front row. You don't see
That
that every
was
day.
wild.
Yeah.
I didn't watch qualifying, but I got the update and I see Hemrick and Reagan, and I'm like, what on earth happened? And sure enough, everybody went for race speed, which you should be doing, and then
Yeah.
there were a couple guys that just kind of trimmed out the cars and went for qualifying and just kind of rolled the dice to see what
Get a
happened.
pole. Why not?
Why not? And
Yeah.
obviously didn't work out well for either Reagan or
Hemrick.
Daniel Hemrick. Obviously Hemrick wrecked out at the end, and Reagan got some damage early on and just couldn't recover, that kind of stuff. But it was cool to see those two up at the front because both of them are out of their rides for next season. It remains to be seen whether Hemrick gets a full-time ride next year in like front row or something, but it's cool to see those two up at the front.
Yeah, for sure. So then Logano has that loose wheel, comes down pit road. He falls 2 laps down because he was off cycle and the leaders had not pitted for their green flag pit stops yet. It looked worse than what it would become, obviously.
It looked worse, but if the cards didn't fall the way that they did,
he's very lucky.
That would have been a lot worse than kind of what ended up happening. Like, he was 2 laps down. If he doesn't get that caution there at the end to get back into things, he probably doesn't get the stage points that he does. He definitely doesn't get the full 10 that he got. And as the race played out, and in the end, he needed those 10 points
crucial.
After,
it's crazy.
We'll get to it. I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah. So Logano comes down pit road, falls 2 laps down, like I've mentioned, and then Larson dominates the first stage. Like he didn't really have much competition. They had green flag pit stops, kind of closed the gap there. I think it was Kyle Busch that was kind of getting in there, and then Kyle had some issues too. I was listening to the scanner, and I'm like, holy crap. Please don't let this happen. Kyle had some issues today, but, well, not today, but at Kansas, and thank God he persevered through that. But, yeah, Larson leads, and then there's a caution that comes out right before the end of the stage. So it leads to that strategy of, do the leaders come or do you want stage points? And the leaders chose to pit, and some people back in the pack, like Logano, chose stage points. Clint Boyer stayed out as well, which that restart was holy crap. That was insane.
Not good for Clint Boyer.
No, that I mean, he was kind of out of it.
He ended up finishing 21st in the first stage. That's insane.
Yeah, I think he restarted 3rd or 5th. He was on the inside. Yeah.
But no, that was a fantastic restart.
Yeah. Made my heart pound.
Oh.
So Logano's in the lead somehow. So he gets his 2 laps back because when the leaders came down pit road, he gets that 1 lap back, and basically the 2 because he'd
already pit.
He'd already pit. So he stays out. He can make it to the end of the stage on fuel. So Logano takes off and wins the first stage somehow. Gets a playoff point.
Got a big bump from Chase Elliott, though.
Very big bump from Chase Elliott because he needed the stage points too.
Yeah.
And
from Chase's point of view, it's basically sucks that it's the guy in front of you that you're in a way trying to chase down, but just get as many points as you can and deal with it later.
Yeah, exactly.
And sure enough. But no, that was an incredible finish to the first stage, and one that until that caution was kind of looking a bit mediocre, and then we got that caution, and these restarts were just unbelievable.
I can't believe they haven't really wrecked on them this season. Like there have not been major wrecks at the 1.5 miles on restarts. Like it blows my mind.
I guess they just have that much car control.
I guess because it went 5 wide. Like Suarez was below the white line. Like you can go
I don't
below
know
it.
How they did that.
Yeah, I mean,
like how did they get that sort? I don't know.
I think it was
insane.
Suarez, Kyle, and then Boyer in the middle.
Yeah.
Worst spot for Boyer to be.
Yeah, that's why he ended up going back to 21st.
Yeah, because Suarez, when you go into turn 3, has to come up to make the corner because he's below the track. So then Kyle just slides up, and then there's contact between Kyle and Boyer, and they don't want a big wreck, so Boyer just lets off the gas, and he went backwards. Holy crap.
Yeah, that was
pretty scary if you're a Boyer fan.
I can't remember the last time I saw 5 wide.
At 1.5 miles.
Well, even just that, like that was
You can't even almost do that at restrictor plate tracks anymore. No, super speedways.
no, that was one of the best restarts that I've seen.
Yeah, for sure.
Just the way that coming at a 2, everyone's there, and the madmen that they are go 5 wide.
Why not?
Just yeah.
Suarez even.
It's
you
it's
know,
the
I'll
first
just mess with
stage.
these playoff guys.
First stage,
Yeah.
and they're going 5 wide.
It just
Oh,
shows you
you'll
how
love to
crucial
see
the stage points are, man. Like,
Yeah,
it's crazy. So, Logano wins stage 1. So then they have to come down pit road. Kyle comes down pit road. Just want to touch on that really quickly to fix quarter panel damage because they did make contact, him and Boyer, on that restart. So they fix that. Then they go to the back basically, like they've lost all their track position, and then I think it was Larson regained the did Larson had the pit penalty.
yeah.
Yeah, and that sent him to the back
tire
as well.
violation.
The tire violation. So then it was a whole new cast of characters up front with the two Gibbs cars, I guess, with Truex and Denny Hamlin battling each other. That was a great battle. I'm glad.
That was really fun.
Yeah, I know you're a Truex fan, so you must have been pretty happy
Yeah.
to see Truex out front there.
Hey, you know what? Truex.
Why not add another win? You know?
Exactly. But no, like, obviously I wasn't worried about Truex at all throughout this race, but
Yeah.
no, it was just fun racing, seeing the two leaders go back and forth like that at a track where you don't usually see leaders go back and forth.
Yeah. And then Hamlin did end up gaining the lead from that. There was a couple cautions throughout that stage, just minor incidents. No one in the playoffs were involved in any of those. Kyle had a stuck throttle.
Yeah, that was worrisome. Looking on the left-hand side when they bring up the leaderboard, and it's just you see him dropping and dropping and
He
dropping.
was on the cut line at one point.
He very much was. He was like what plus like
I think it was
close
like
to 10.
It was like 8. I think.
Yeah, it was right in around that.
It's in
and
that range where if something else happens.
I'll be honest, I got my hopes up. But,
Oh yeah, I didn't. Oh my god, I was so nervous.
But no, like at the end of the second stage, though, I should point out that some guys who needed some key stage points did.
Yeah,
William
Hamlin won the
Byron
stage
was
one.
still up
Yeah.
there. He finished 4th in the stage. Chase Elliott 5th.
Yeah.
And then you go down a couple, and Joey Logano still 7th. But of note, no Keselowski to be seen.
Yeah, Mr. Brad K did not have the greatest run in Kansas.
No, he did not.
Just not a factor all day long, which I was not honestly expecting because he won the spring race there, even though that one's
yeah.
run at night. But still, it's the same track. It's not like it changes that much.
Mhm.
It's still 4 corners. So, so
That was a good one.
yeah. So Denny Hamlin wins the second stage, playoff points that he doesn't really need, and for right now, but he does need them as many as you can for the next round.
Take that playoff point.
Why not? So yeah, Hamlin wins the second stage. Looked really good. Honestly, he just
Yeah.
looked like he could lead. So, but Kyle did actually end up recovering from the throttle issue, which had me really nervous. Like he was screaming on the radio,
Understandably
like,
so.
This is I can't drive this thing. So then they took the boot off of it. That's what I heard. I don't know. That's something mechanical, obviously. So then Kyle, I think, finished 10th in the second stage, which made me feel good that he had a decent enough car that he could recover. So we move on to the final stage.
Yes, we do.
We have a very interesting point situation because
And
Chase
that-
Elliott has earned his stage points. That I mean, he could have got more, but he did what he needed to do.
He got enough.
He got enough to put himself in a position to challenge.
He got
if
what,
other-
14, 15?
I think he was tied with Truex or Hamlin with the most, but it was like 14 or 15. I think it was 14.
Yeah, because it was a 2nd and a 5th, so whatever that is. It's 9 and then 6, so it's 15.
Something
So-
like that. Yeah. So he did what he needed to do. He had he was a top 5 car. He wasn't maybe a winning
Yeah.
car, but he was a top 5 car, like that 3rd or 5th
He was
range.
consistently in the top 5, where early in the day we saw Larson do really, really well up front,
Mhm.
and then when he got shuffled back because of the violation, his car kind of struggled. And then when we saw that transition to Hamlin and Truex at the front, and Chase was always there, but he also
that step
wasn't
behind,
there.
kinda.
He was in that 3rd to 5th range throughout the entire race. He was just never really there challenging at the end.
Yeah.
So
Man, this last stage is crazy.
it's kind of funny how there's always something.
Yeah.
And sure enough,
it never ends.
funny enough, actually, it's a Penske car that has the issue. the one that's already in.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that just sets off this
Mayhem of the final 20 laps.
whole mayhem. And so 16 to go. Ryan Blaney hits the wall, rides it for a decent amount of time to the point where you're like, okay, what's happening here? Sure enough, he doesn't really come down. It did look bad. And then all of a sudden, starts to slow. You see the tires start to shed.
Goes down to the apron.
And there's the flag.
Yeah.
A bit of a soft-ish caution, but you
can
get
argue
it.
It's just
with the amount of tire that shed there, you can go the debris route. You can go the safety. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can go whatever route. It was a little bit soft, but it was always going to get called because it's 16 laps to go in a playoff race. You want the drama.
Yeah.
And I'll take it.
Yeah. The only argument, is he's on the pit road access. So if someone comes down pit road, which I don't know why you would, but then they would hit that, maybe get a debris on the track or whatever. So. But Hamlin led up to that point. He dominated the third stage.
Yeah,
he didn't really. Kyle recovered. He got up to second. Those two it just stayed steady at about 0.6 of a second for that final run. Not much Kyle could really do with this package, unfortunately, to try and pass him.
Yeah, and then the shenanigans happened.
Ryan Blaney having a terrific run. Honestly,
yeah, he
had a really fast car.
Good.
And I think he was third.
Very promising speed.
Yeah.
Going into the next 3 races.
Yeah, I think they were really testing something here.
And it worked.
Definitely.
Because
not what Brad worked or Joey's.
No, but the important thing to note there though is he qualified like 3rd or something.
Yes.
And he still ran well all day.
Yeah.
When we saw most of the guys who qualified up front fall way back really, really quickly.
Yeah.
So that was impressive stuff.
It's very
from that
encouraging
team.
for Penske to see that Blaney had that speed in probably a low downforce car and lot.
Yeah, because they're going to need a lot of stage points if they want to have a shot if they don't win a race.
Exactly. So yeah, the shenanigans. So there's no other word for it, basically.
So we get that restart.
Yeah.
And Chase. So who hit who? Jones got hit by somebody, which caused Elliott to get up to second there, and get him ahead of Keselowski.
Oh man,
I can't remember. I can't remember who it was, but Jones got hit by somebody. Was it Kurt Busch? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was Kurt.
So those two guys ahead of Chase. Chase was running like 5th. 2 guys get into each other. I thought that there was going to be a wreck and Chase was going to be involved. Somehow both guys saved it. Chase comes flying down on the bottom, gets past them both, gets into second place.
Yeah.
Which, because of the way that Keselowski was running, put him 1 point ahead of Keselowski. Now, obviously, if Keselowski picked up another place, they'd be tied. He picks up another. All of a sudden, he's back up, and Elliott has to win the race.
Yeah. One thing important here. Brad was a lap down before this.
Yes.
And there was a lot of strategy, a lot of talk. Does he pit for tires and stay on a lap down, which there wasn't really much advancement for him to make up spots? Or does he stay out, take the wave around, and try and pass as many cars on old tires? He just did not have the car in the final stage. Like, that thing was out of control. He got lapped by Hamlin. In really bad spot.
In the 16 to early 20s range all day.
Yeah, just terrible run for Brad.
But no,
so yeah,
Elliott gets by. You think that he's basically got it in the bag based off of the way that Keselowski is running and the position that he's in, because he could, at the way that first restart was going, it looked like he could legitimately challenge for the win.
Yeah.
The way that car was going. And then we get another caution.
And that allows Mr. Brad Keselowski to come down pit road and get 4 tires because he's now back on the lead lap. And that just stirs a whole nother pot. So he comes down pit road. A couple cars come with him. He's about 4th in line coming down pit road. Leaves 2nd. So that's two more spots for Brad. And then he leaves pit road. I think it's +3.
Yeah, so going down pit road, Elliott was up 2 points.
Yeah.
Coming out of pit road, Keselowski was up 3, I think.
I think it was 3.
I think, it was up 3. So he gained quite a few positions on pit road.
Yeah.
But just couldn't hang on to it.
No. Just did not have the speed in that car, did not have the handling to protect those positions. So we get another restart. Looks like, so chasing the outside line this time because he was 2nd. And then you got the 2 Gibbs cars lined up nose to tail, and then Jones is behind Elliott. Hamlin takes the lead. He storms off, and then Kyle goes to second, and then Elliott falls back to third. So then that's
not a good restart from Elliott there.
Yeah, just in that outside line, the
No,
leader gets to judge.
there
with
wasn't
the push.
much that he could do.
Yeah.
But the way that he fell back, it puts Keselowski back into position to go through.
Yeah, exactly. But then coming around to take the
Like,
white flag.
2 centimeters before the white flag.
I've never seen that. I was like, for sure, I'm like, oh, race is over.
That was ridiculously close. Like, I don't know how they got the caution out that quick.
Sometimes NASCAR takes forever to throw the caution. This time, whoever did it had Valtteri
They had
Bottas' race start from
They
last
had their
season.
finger ready to go.
They were ready to push that button. So it's I think it's Suarez and got into Hemrick, and Joey Logano spins and gets some damage because Austin
A
Dillon
decent
hits
amount
it.
of damage.
Looked pretty decent. I mean, it wasn't. He was running back there.
It wasn't
anyways right
anything. No, it wasn't anything that was gonna
now. End his day.
end his day. But the way that he saved it from getting any contact with the wall and just having the crash damage from the initial impact,
Yeah.
that saved his race.
He's very lucky how he hit the grass too, because
Yeah.
it did rain,
Yeah.
obviously. So
Yeah.
if he goes nose first into that, splitter's gone,
Yeah,
100%. So he does a 360 loop, incredible save to be honest.
really good save.
He just comes right on the track. All right, just give me 4 tires, But that puts Logano actually, I think, below Keselowski.
Yeah, they were both +3.
Yeah, they were tied.
Yeah.
Right, and
They
Elliott's
were
still below
both
that cut
+3
line.
going into the second overtime.
Yeah. So Logano, if he falters, he can fall. But
He even stays where he is, or if either car stays where they are,
that's
and
it.
Chase gets the positions back and gets back up to second the way that he had the 2 previous cautions, the caution before the first overtime.
Yeah.
Keselowski's out, or if Keselowski gets that 1 position, Logano's out,
Yeah.
which the entire day after the first stage we weren't really anticipating.
Exactly.
But overtime happens,
Yeah.
and Logano somehow is still able to drive
Gain
up,
spots.
which
Crazy.
is
It
incredible.
was a crazy restart because Brad is actually in pretty decent track position here, but he's on the bottom line back in the pack, and you don't want to be there.
Mhm.
Outside line is able to roll more. You have more space. You don't have as much of a narrow entry getting into the corner. And Brad falls back, not only to do with that lane choice, well, that lane position that he has.
That car
but
just
the
wasn't going.
car just didn't go. He
No,
just did
because
not have the
even
handling.
after that first corner, I think he lost a couple or just one through that first corner, and
Yeah,
then
1 or
coming
2.
out, it was just the car was not there, and like
Yeah.
when it's like I don't even know, but it was like a JTG car, and it was Paul Menard passing him, and like when those are the guys passing you for the playoff spots when you need to get up there,
Yeah.
like come on.
Yeah. But the race up front, Chase did get to second place
He
on that
did.
restart. Great restart by Chase on that one. So it's Denny, then Chase, then Kyle. It stayed that way to the finish. But Brad, on the white flag lap, pushing so hard. He obviously was
I
told
mean,
the
he
situation.
had to.
He hits the wall coming off of 2.
Like
And then-
if he stays in that position, it doesn't change the outcome.
Yeah.
He just has to go as hard as he can to try and get something, because Chase getting up to second meant that he was -2 or 3 at that point, and he just wasn't gaining that many cars.
I think Brad lost like 6 or 7 spots on
Like
that
he lost
restart.
because he went in +3.
And
Chase
ended,
gained a couple spots, so that would have pushed it back to like +1 or +2 depending on where Keselowski was. But he lost a ton of time
Yeah. And then
in just the 2 laps too. Like
yeah.
you would think that somebody of Keselowski's ability and somebody in a Penske car, for crying out loud, would be able to hold.
Off some of these
Just hold
20th place
par.
runners, for that playoff spot
They
on the
couldn't
line.
even do that.
Yeah,
Couldn't even do that.
yeah. So
And when you have a run like that, quite frankly, you don't deserve to go through the next round. And sure enough, Keselowski is the one that falls out.
yeah, Denny Hamlin wins the race. Couldn't really get a challenge from Chase, but he didn't need it because of Brad's struggles. Chase finishes second, advances to the round of 8, which was honestly incredible. I did not see any shakeup come into this race especially with Chase -22 coming into this race.
Like,
That is
come on.
insane. Like he outscored Brad by 25 points.
50-point race. 50-point race, whereas Keselowski, where is he at here? He had 23.
Yeah, exactly.
That does it right there.
Yep.
27 points he made up. That's
Not good enough.
That's
Not good enough from a Penske
Not
car.
good enough from a Penske car, but that's a damn good performance from Chase Elliott.
Yeah.
Again.
Good for him. Honestly, it's good to see that he's living up to the expectations, honestly, that people hold on him now, you know? Most drivers would
People
curl
forget
up.
he's still only 23.
Yeah, he's very young. He can grow a beard like no man, but, you know, yeah. So the 4 drivers end up getting eliminated. Boyer, Bowman, Byron, and Brad Keselowski.
Yes.
So Hendrick still has a playoff car left to...
Which they expected, but after what happened at Talladega and what happened in the first race for at Dover for Chase Elliott, there was a lot of worried Hendrick guys, I believe. But one thing that I do want to say is William Byron was there at the end.
He was in a spot where
he had a very underrated day. Like, I didn't hear the broadcast talk about him much at all.
Yeah.
He didn't get the points that he needed in the first stage. He was there on the final restart. He just kind of got shuffled back. It happens. He finished 11th, so he just missed out on the 1 point. He needed a good stage 1 if he had any shot of pointing his way in.
Yeah.
Stage 2, though, he finished 4th, got the 7 points there, and then he ends up finishing 5th, got passed by Kurt Busch at the last second there. But he was there on the outside. He was one of the few guys that was making the outside work throughout the day consistently. He was trying to get around on that last restart. He just didn't have the momentum going to get that outside really working. But he was there at the end. He needed a win, and he had a great day by that 24 cars standards.
Finished like 13 points below the cutoff line, which is actually really good.
Really
considering
solid.
Where he came in.
Absolutely, based off of the poor finish at Talladega. But no. Very, very promising stuff from both Byron and Bowman, because Byron especially, you didn't expect him to get to this point. Bowman, you kind of were like, okay, we want to see that next point. But both of them really showed promise throughout the season. Byron showed an incredible jump up in production from last season.
Yeah.
And I think both are going to be very intriguing drivers going into next season.
Exactly. So I think that's it for Kansas. The sets for the round of 8.
Yes,
gonna be great. So we're going to Martinsville this weekend. Short track, the last short track of the season. That breaks my heart, you know. But,
breaks your heart, but I mean,
it's gonna be
this last Martinsville one is always
race.
Just.
I mean,
bananas.
There's 5 guys that for sure in the playoffs could be the top 5 in Hamlin, Truex, Kyle, Logano, and Chase Elliott. Like, I think those 5. It's between those 5 for the win, honestly. And one of those guys will punch their ticket to Homestead and get 2 weeks off, basically.
Yeah.
This is the most crucial win, I think, in almost all season, because it sets you up nicely.
This first Martinsville one really eases the pressure.
Yeah. So, do you want to get into any predictions, I guess? Like, just
of course, let's go. Come on now.
All right, you go first this week.
Okay, so Martinsville.
Yeah.
There are 3 names that initially come to mind here for me. Chase Elliott, of course, because Martinsville has consistently been one of his best tracks.
Yeah.
That's not including the road courses, because he's become a road course
king.
Yeah, exactly. So Chase Elliott there. Denny Hamlin because of his obviously his success at the track, but also the Chase Elliott tie-in there from a couple seasons ago now.
Yeah.
And then Martin Truex because of the way that things went last year.
Yeah, wants redemption at Martinsville.
Wants that redemption. So I assume we're going to give our Martinsville picks first here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Martin Truex Jr. getting the redemption from last year, gets that short track win at Martinsville.
All right. I'm going to go with Kyle.
Yep.
Like
any track you can pick him, and it's like, yeah.
I feel especially confident this weekend. He had a great run at Kansas. He recovered. That team showed resilience. I think he wants to get that win, put that to bed on if the team is still competitive or not. Also saying that Homestead is a different style of track, but this still puts them in a good position to prep for Homestead. It gives them a chance to test something maybe at Texas.
Yeah.
Not just that for Kyle, but for anyone who wins in the playoffs at this race. He sets them up for a nice position at Texas. So I'm going to go with Kyle. I think he gets back to victory lane for the first time in 18 races now. I think that's
kind of incredible, really.
Yeah, basically half a season. So it's been a while, but I think he gets that done. So that's basically it for Martinsville. I mean, there's just so many wild cards basically going into this.
Yeah, I'll have my eye on a couple non-playoff guys.
Brad.
I want to see. Well, no, not even necessarily that, but I want to see what guys like Chris Buescher and Matt DiBenedetto can do, because this is consistently one of their better tracks where
Right.
kind of equals out because you don't have that high-end speed.
Yeah.
There's a lot more driver ability throughout these races. I want to see what those guys can do, because both of them will be in new equipment next year. So this is kind of one of the last few times that we'll see both of them in kind of that
Winning.
lower to mid-tier kind of equipment,
Yeah.
and see what they can do, because we saw at Bristol what DiBenedetto could do there. And DiBenedetto's always been good at Martinsville. Buescher's always been good at Martinsville. So I want to see what those two guys can do, because it's always fun to see those kind of mid-tier cars get up into the top 10.
Yeah. So we'll move on to Formula One, I think, really quickly here. That does it for NASCAR.
Yeah.
It'll be an interesting race, that's for sure. So last time we ended with the Japanese Grand Prix. Just really quickly, Sebastian Vettel, terrible start.
Yeah.
Got pole. Ferrari locked out the front row. No. No.
It was first and third.
Yeah, first and third. My bad. Vettel then.
It's a couple weeks ago. It's okay.
Yeah, sorry. So Vettel gets off the line bad. Valtteri Bottas takes the lead and storms off. As the Finn does sometimes.
Yeah.
He goes up there and just dominates a race.
He's a good race car driver.
Yeah, it's underrated.
Believe
but he
it or
is
not.
Good. Yeah. So then Leclerc and Verstappen get into the first and second corners. Ends Verstappen's
As per
day.
usual.
Yep. Can't escape those two. It always seems to be on one end or the
Hey,
other.
you know what? I'll take it, because those two are going to be battling each other for a long time, and I don't mind a little bit of animosity.
Yeah, a lot of scores are being written down now.
Oh yeah.
So Leclerc falls back. He has to pit. That's really the only real incident of the day. That set two contenders for a podium backwards. So then you have Bottas ended up winning the race, and then Vettel didn't get a penalty for basically his jump start because he didn't cross the line.
Yeah,
on
that
the
was
box.
weird. Like, he jumped the start, but
But he didn't.
he was
get off
far
the
back
sensor.
enough so that he actually didn't jump the start, and just like, I don't know, that was weird.
Yeah,
I-
I thought
I-
as soon
I
as
had not
if you
seen
go
anything
before
like
the
that.
lights go out, that's a jump start. But apparently not.
You would think, but I guess
That's just how
he just
precise
didn't-
Seb is.
he just didn't line up far enough, but it still screwed him over because he had a terrible start still. So
Yeah, it just cost him the race.
yeah.
He was my winner pick going into that, so I looked pretty good after qualifying, but I digress. So then Bottas wins,
Yep.
and I think Vettel still finished second.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Hamilton third.
Alex Albon fourth, and Carlos Sainz picking up that fifth still.
Yeah, McLaren, very good season. Honestly, Norris just hasn't gotten the
Carlos-
results that
no,
he
and-
deserves.
Yeah, that's exactly it. He hasn't gotten the results he deserves.
Yeah. So move on quickly to USA because that is this weekend.
Mexico this weekend.
Oh,
USA's a couple
right.
weeks.
they switched it around on
Yeah,
me this year.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Hey, you know what? I'll take it because it's still a 3 p.m. start.
That's exactly what I was about to say. We get a
I'll
good
take it.
start time for once.
Yeah.
But it's going to be on at the same time as the Martinsville race.
Hey, you know what? That's what side by side was made for.
Exactly. So the Red Bulls are usually strong here.
Back-to-back wins for Verstappen here.
Yeah. So, you know what? I'll just go out and say Verstappen wins it. Why not?
3-peat, eh?
Yeah. He seems to get around that track pretty well. Red Bull might not be in the greatest of form right now, but
No.
I'll give it to Verstappen.
No Alex Albon pick?
I think he could. I would love to see him
That'd
get a
be wild.
podium before
That'd
the
be
end of the
wild.
season.
Yeah, I know.
I just want him to get that podium. If he doesn't get that
Yeah.
ride next year, which I think he honestly deserves because he's been really
I would
great.
imagine he is at this point.
Yeah, he's proven himself in that car.
Like, what
so-
else are they going to do?
Yeah. Do you want him to win? I don't know. Like,
Exactly.
Do you have a prediction for
I'll say Charles gets it done.
Charles?
Yeah, I'll say
Leclerc?
Leclerc.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say Charles gets it done. I want to go with one of the Red Bulls, but it's just
That Ferrari
been
power on that long
it's
straight.
just been way too down recently, and I don't want to
Some
pick
of
a
it's
Mercedes because it's
circumstantial.
boring. So I'll say Leclerc gets it done.
All right. So Ferrari and a Red Bull. No Mercedes
Yeah.
taken this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quickly, we've got like 45 seconds
Yeah.
left. Give me your championship for NASCAR.
Right. Okay.
I'll go quickly now because I just had it thought out earlier.
Yeah.
I've got Hamlin, Truex, Busch, and then Elliott gets it done because I think he gets a win at some point.
Okay, I think Harvick's going to go underrated in this round.
He is underrated.
Yeah, so I'm going to put Harvick in that championship 4.
Okay,
I'm not
okay,
going to
I
say
like it.
I don't want to say all 3 Gibbs because I think someone's going to fall out because that's just too easy. So I'm going to say Harvick, Kyle.
Harvick, Kyle. Two more.
Truex,
Okay.
Logano.
Ooh, okay. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I like that round for Logano. So
Sounds good.
thank you for listening to the Green Flag this week. I've been Lucas Wacker. Alongside me, as always, is Kyle Cushman.